Dun-na, 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 dun-na.
Okay, you gotta stop there or we're gonna have to pay for it.
Dun-na-na-na-na. It's Pink Panther.
No, I know. I'm saying you gotta stop doing it or we're gonna have to pay for it.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Surveillance.
All right. Detective. The Pink Panther.
All right.
What happened? What happened? Come on,
Well,
come on.
we're going to tell you two stories about what happens when the defendants survey the plaintiff. What is surveillance? Surveillance is hiring a private investigator to follow around, peer into, they can't bug the plaintiff. Now, why would they do that? A, they're looking for fraud. B, they're just hoping to find something. And C, they're doing it to harass.
And D, they're a peeping Tom.
Well, that's the truth all the way through it. So we only represent terribly injured people. So this isn't the case of someone having some, and I used to do whiplash cases, and I believe that they're true injuries, but feigning a whiplash injury or feigning a work injury, but then they catch them, building.
Yeah, they say, I got a shoulder injury, I can't lift. Their job is lifting stuff all day. They can't.
And they're doing it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Our cases are a little bit worse than that, by many folds. So this is a true story. We're going to tell two stories. So one was of a young man who was 26, and he was almost killed. His list of injuries was so long that it filled an entire page. Everything from, dissecting carotid artery, both sides, to internal injuries that need to be fixed, to having permanent drop foot from a spinal injury, oh my gosh, just humongous, like in the hospital and rehab for over a year, never being able to be active again, having more surgeries, even during the trial, infections, just catastrophic injuries, like can he even walk again was a miracle. Okay, can't fake that stuff. Well, they tailed him. Now, why are you going to tail someone like that? That that they're severely injured. They're a very sympathetic person. They're very nice. They lived with their parents on and off. They were, what were they hoping to find?
Well, from your reasons that they might be doing it, I would say that there's only a couple. Either they think that they're lying, which would be kind of crazy because of all the medical evidence, or they're trying to harass, I would think.
I mean, the person, over $1 million in medical bills, okay? So because there's such a profound injury. So we find out that they have been surveyed and demand to get all the surveillance stuff. And normally you're allowed to get it. Well, the defense lawyer, yes, one of my most hated, refused to provide it and goes and seeks a protective order. And the judge says, okay, well, if you're going to use it in a trial, you got to give it to her. And if you're not going to use it, you don't have to. So they said, we're not going to use it in trial. But I did. Because he also had psychological issues. And he felt really paranoid, like people were following him. Well, they were. So the jury got to learn that he was being tailed by the defense.
And did the defense know that he had paranoid tendencies?
It was in the medical.
Yeah, so they knew that he had issues, and they were doing something that would make him worse.
Yeah, so many people that have those kind of injuries end up having emotional injury. I mean, like their whole life has changed.
Yeah.
He's a guy that could stand up and do a backflip, and
he'll never be able to do that.
All of that kind of stuff. Yeah. Super athletic. So that came into court, and I can just remember the jury just giving the stink eye to the defense lawyer. They were so angry about that. And so when you are going to use surveillance as a defense lawyer, you better be sure that there's a reason that's good, because more often than not, it will backfire on you. Which brings us to this weekend. And let me just say, we have some very interesting opponents on an Amazon case. And let me also say that we were arguing with one of those opponents last week because she was trying to make us have stuff due on Monday, which is MLK Day.
That's right.
And we said, we aren't working.
We don't work on
And in
MLK.
particular, me, Mo, and Kristen are all BIPOC. And we are observing this. And she was like, well, she didn't care. And then I basically kind of, wrote a very direct letter that this was direct harassment and unprofessional and almost reportable. And that got backtracked, right?
Yeah.
Then the weekend comes.
Yeah.
And Mo is in a MLK tournament where he's a basketball coach for the Bad News Bears.
They're not the bad news bears. They're the good news boys.
They're okay.
They're the good news kids.
And then tell us the story, Mo.
Well, what happened was that I was coaching, and then my phone is blowing up, and it was the paralegal for our co-counsel, who's of Somalian descent, and he's blowing me up because the client was being examined by a medical doctor for the defense for the purposes of the case.
A CR35 exam.
And so what ended up happening is at halftime, I go out and I call him. I go, is everything okay? Fine. We're being tailed. What do you mean you're being tailed? This guy in like an SUV has been tailing us, and he's got Oregon plates, and he's been following us for a while.
Wait, stop. What did you think? You have two Somalians.
Yeah.
You have what's going on in Minnesota against the Somalians. Yeah. What did you think?
I thought it was ICE agents.
On MLK Day, targeting
MLK Day.
two black people.
Two black people. So, I used to be...
Wait, two Somalian people?
Yeah.
Well, but we're talking for racial profiling purposes.
No, I'm just making the correlation to what's going on in Minnesota.
Yeah, no, we are too.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
I was
it's
literally...
the exact thing.
I was
from
making a
yesterday.
correlation.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I used to be a federal public defender.
Yeah.
I said, okay, here's what you need to do. I want you to go pull over into a public mall, like a strip mall, and then see if he follows. And then if he follows and parks, I want you to get out of your vehicle, turn your phone on, hold it in front of you, videotape him, take a photo of the plate, and then take a photo of him. So he does that, exactly what I asked him. He gets out and he goes, and this guy freaks out. And he gives...
This guy being the potential...
The person in the car.
The person in the car freaks out and starts to be abrasive and gives the bird to the flips off our guy. And then he takes off. So he sent me the photos, and I immediately contacted someone I know to run the plate. And the plate comes back, Investigator, Walker Investigations. So then I send this information on MLK Day. I go, Karen, we got a bite. When we pull up, I gotta. It's a big one.
We're actually, so first of all, we're pissed, right? Because we told them, do not bother us today. We are not working. So he's like pulled out of his son's basketball game. I was at that was Sunday. That was Monday. I don't know what I was doing, but we plotted and we strategized for a little bit, and we decided to wait. Do you have my email?
I think I do have your email.
Okay, well, let me talk.
I got another question about that because that CR35 exam,
you were going to do it.
that was a last minute decision, right?
No, well, so what had happened was there had been an earlier 35 examination, and this is a court rule examination, so they can do a defense medical. And their chosen person violated all the terms, and we walked out of it. Isaac in the office was accompanying the client, and they walked out of it, understandably. Wait, that's a different case.
That's a different case.
This is a
Never
different
mind.
case.
Never mind. I get so confused.
Okay, but just say
But
very
yes.
quickly what a CR35 examination
So
is.
a CR 35 is Court Rule 35, and that says, when in dispute, a medical condition can be evaluated by the other side. And so this is in dispute. So that his medical condition, I mean, he's basically really from the base of his neck down, I can't even remember how many levels of his spine, he's completely fused. Like he can't even turn his head. He has to turn his whole body. He cannot, there's nothing. It's one of the longest surgeries like that I've seen. It goes like halfway down his back, from the bottom of his neck, halfway down his back. And he's, so anyway.
I guess I was just asking, like, how did that exam end up happening on Martin Luther King Day when we weren't going to be working that day?
Well, we weren't going to be working that day, but they needed it done because we're close to the discovery cutoff. And we agreed to it, but we weren't doing it.
Yeah, they scheduled this, is what I'm
And
saying.
our co-counsel, they agreed that they would, their paralegal would accompany the client. And so it was a 2-hour exam. And so obviously the private investigator knew where to go because the defense had arranged for them to go to this
had scheduled
thing.
it and knew that they were going to be there at that time.
But we didn't know at the time. They just thought they were ICE agents. We didn't know until afterwards that this was what it was. But we knew quickly, like later that day.
So then we talk, and then Karen on Tuesday sends an email. Subject to Amazon. Your tail is the subject. Your tail. Dear counsel. Yesterday was plaintiff's second defense medical exam. As the paralegal and client were leaving a vehicle that was tailing them, brackets, after the paralegal stopped to take a photo, close brackets, your professional investigator sent a direct message to our paralegal and the client. And there's a photo of the guy giving the bird. That's right. Mr. W gave the middle finger to the 2 black men he had been tailing as they attended the Defense CR 35 exam on MLK Day. To be clear, and according to Wikipedia, giving someone the middle finger, also known as flipping the bird or flipping someone off, is an obscene hand gesture. The gesture communicates moderate to extreme contempt and is roughly equivalent in meaning to bleep you, bleep off, or go bleep yourself, shove it up your bleep, or up yours. It is performed by showing the back of a hand that has only the middle finger extended upwards, though in some locales, the thumb is extended.
I didn't know that.
Extending the finger is considered a symbol of contempt in several cultures, especially in the Western world. Many cultures use similar gestures to display their disrespect, although others use it to express pointing without intentional disrespect. Close quote. You are hereby on notice that the actions of your PI have caused emotional distress to plaintiff. Your attention is further directed to plaintiff's discovery requests, which require the prompt disclosure of all surveillance undertaken along with the video, journals, notes, etc. In addition, please provide a date for your investigator's deposition to occur within the next 2 weeks.
And what have we heard since then?
Let me ask you a question.
Wait, that was so good.
Caught.
I read your emails better than you write them.
I know that was an edited version that you
It
read,
was, yeah.
that I posted, because the real email is, worse.
Yeah.
So the CR35 exam was for the defense to examine our client and find out if the medical records match up with what we say our client has, right?
Well, also because they're permanent injuries. So sometimes they'll say, well, maybe they need more rehab, or maybe they should have had more PT, or no, they don't need a future surgery, or they're not going to have future arthritis. So it's really how the injury is now. Like, they're not disputing that he's had that many levels of his spine fused, but it's like, what next? The what next part.
So then why would they be surveilling him right after that exam if they've already admitted all the injuries?
Well, they probably had him tailing him for long. I mean, he was following them, right? So it's
Yeah.
probably for more than the exam. Maybe
Oh,
he's
yeah.
been there for a couple of days. I hope he had fun visiting him while he went to the mosque and then went home in his apartment building. But they'll just sit there and watch and try to figure stuff out.
So this has got to just be harassment is where I'm going. Like,
Well,
there's no real reason for them to be surveilling your client.
I'm not going to defame them.
I'm not asking you to defame him. I'm asking your opinion. If you were doing this, would you think there was a reason for that to be done?
Okay, this is the reason
If you're
think
defense.
Here's what I think as a defense. I think this is what they're thinking. Man, did you see when Karen used that surveillance video to get that $45 million verdict that she did the last time it happened? I think that we should go and survey this guy so that she can turn around and use it against us so she can get a $45 million verdict again with Mo. Maybe they'll even get more. I think that we should just be stupid and do this ridiculous thing for this poor guy, the Somali refugee who came to this country for a better life and got creamed by an Amazon driver, who going the wrong way because he was directed the wrong way by the stupid app to deliver packages.
And he was in a hurry because they're forced to do too much work.
I think that we should just, you know what? I really think we should on Martin Luther King Jr. Day, because we all know that, Karen and Mo and Kristen aren't working. So we should make sure to follow him from the CR35 exam. And let's just be horrible because, hey, why not? That's what I think that they were
That's
thinking.
what you think? Okay.
I love that because I think they weren't really thinking. But I do think that they were targeting this client because he was Somali.
I do too.
I think that my assessment, my inference, it's racial animus towards him because they think that people of Somalian descent are fraudsters. And I think that that's why they were doing it. And they did it on MLK Day because it's the last day that anybody from that community would think that they were being pursued by people. Like, who would do it on a holiday? I think it was somewhat idiotic planning, but intentional design. So intentional idiots is what I think.
Don't you think, though, that, Amazon's, I don't even know how much they're worth, but they're a very big company.
Well, we can't. Let's just say that it wasn't Amazon, just so that we don't get sued.
Okay, so it's not necessarily Amazon; it's another company.
It could be,
Could be
someone
anybody.
else could have wanted to have tail them.
But I guess the point that I'm getting at is you mentioned that they might think that it was an ICE agent. You mentioned that they were being surveilled on Martin Luther King Day and that they were people of color. You mentioned that defense often will do this as an intimidation tactic. Doesn't it seem like whoever the defense is really trying to enforce their power to deter future legal action of this type against them?
Oh, yeah.
They're literally trying to beat our client into submission.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't think it was Amazon or any of these defense lawyers. It can't be.
Yes,
These are no wait, let me finish. It can't be. Let me explain to you why.
Oh, I'm listening.
Because one, I don't know for certain if it's them, but two, they're incredibly talented and gifted people. And you would have to be a moron to do this. And I know that these lawyers are exceptionally gifted. They're talented lawyers. It's not them. I refuse to believe that any of the defense lawyers involved in this were involved in this because
You're
they're
such a
exceptional.
liar.
I'm just saying.
You're
I
a
really
liar.
do.
You
I'm
are
not-
a liar. You're
I'm
a
not-
liar. You're a
you
liar.
think I'm being sarcastic? I won't buy it. I think that there is something else going on. I think that
Their
You think
minds have
you
been
think they're
taken over
using
by
it-
pluribus.
If you want me to go full conspiracy, you think they're using it in a way that They're going to give you some kind of information that you guys are going to then screw up the case somehow.
But I honestly cannot. I refuse to believe that any of the lawyers involved
I don't.
are involved in this. You would have to be a buffoon to do this.
That's not the
These
first
are-
time something like this has happened.
I
Come
refuse
on.
to believe. These are exceptional lawyers. These are talented,
What are you
high
talking
regarded
about?
lawyers.
No, they are not.
I think they are.
I never heard of them before.
Well, it can't. That's what I'm saying. I'm totally excluding the possibility of any of the lawyers that we are suspecting.
He's talking both sides.
Somebody had to do it, and it wasn't us, right?
Well, we got to pull the guy into a deposition, and I get to depose him.
I mean, I've seen a lot of surveillance over my years. Flipping someone off is so stupid.
I mean,
Well, and all he had to do was just drive away.
yeah, but
It's
come
so
on.
dumb.
could you imagine the lawyer saying like, "Well, what do I do?" Investigators, what do I do if they like make me? If I'm made? Well, just
I'm not an investigator, and I'll tell you what I would
the
have
bird.
done. I would have
There's
just
no way.
drove by.
There's no way.
I would have driven by and kept going.
What do we do if I'm made?
And then
they made
gone
me.
down and parked
Flip
my
him
car
off.
somewhere.
No, he's like on the phone. He's like, they made me. They made me. What do I do?
exactly.
They made
Flip him
me.
off. Give him the bird.
Give him the bird. Give him the bird.
That'll
Give
do
him the
it.
bird, give him the bird.
Definitely, no one's going to tell him to flip them off. I guarantee that.
Yeah, I just don't.
That
think,
was just somebody who. That was just the private investigator being an idiot. Was what
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
He got caught. He then saw them filming him. I'm going to guess he's of the Trump side just because of the way that he reacted, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But that's what he did. He got mad because the people that he were tailing, a couple people of color, walked up with their cameras, just like
Just
Renee
one guy
Good's partner did in Minnesota, and
Yeah.
he figured he had the right to tell them, "F you, you don't have the right
Yeah.
to film me."
Can I just say, just think about the two people that were tailed. First of all, the paralegal Abdi was really brave.
He was brave.
I mean, because he didn't know, and I don't know that he should have done. Like in this day and age, when people can just shoot you through a window.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Just recently,
he could have been shot
He
by
had
that guy.
he had the option not to do it, and he was like, I'm doing it.
But
Brave guy.
but he did. I mean, so imagine how his heart was beating,
Yeah.
and how worried and scared he was, and he's there to really watch over and protect this client that's sitting in the car that has a pretty major problem going on there, and imagine what the client that's in the car is thinking.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they just had to go through a defense medical exam. This is an involuntary medical exam. This is not your doctor. This is not your friend. They're there to say that you're making this up, or that you're really not that badly injured. And
yeah, I can honestly say I've been to at least 12 to 15 of these exams, probably way more. But I've almost never seen a defense medical expert that wasn't asking questions that seemed like they were trying to prove that our client didn't have what they had.
Yeah, and so he's exhausted. He's been in there for like 3 hours or something, 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
And had to drive there, driving back on MLK Day, and he is part of the Somali community, and they are very well aware what's going around, and dealing with in Minnesota, and this is what they're encountering. Like, the whole thing was just pathetic, and it makes me angry.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, we are laughing about it because it's so stupid.
It's absurd.
But it's also, it's mean. It's mean and it's nasty. And so I have no feelings like Mo does, like, how can such wonderful lawyers do such a thing? I'm like, a pox on you, you creeps, anybody creepy enough to order this. And if your client said, or your insurance company said, we want you to do this, then you know what? You live a pathetic life that you're going to just do what someone says like that for no good reason.
So wait, what you're saying is that it could be that an insurance company told the lawyers to do this?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Because
Is that even
as we
possible?
all know, Amazon doesn't need an insurance company.
That's right. I just refuse to believe that lawyers were involved. I mean, if it is, I will be.
You know the lawyers are
Well, I
involved.
guess let's be honest. If it's like
The lawyers are 1,000% involved, Mo. This would never happen without a lawyer doing it.
Are you certain?
1,000%.
No, they could totally have it separate.
No.
Yes, they could.
You know why? Because in a legal case like this, the lawyer has to know.
We gotta
lawyer-
They
has
wouldn't
to-
have to know that the surveillance is happening. They'd have to know the product that they got from the surveillance.
No, they have to know that the surveillance because it's part of the legal thing. Oh. In fact, this is that case where we got the verdict and the jury gave him the stink eye. They tried to prevent us from telling the jury that he was surveyed. And the judge said, you know what? You didn't come to me and ask for it to surveil. You didn't give me reason for you to engage in the surveillance. This was not a litigation tactic. This is outside of litigation. You chose to do it, so they get to talk about it.
But I thought you already said that you don't know that they did it. So if you don't know that they
Well,
did
I
it,
just
and
said
it
that
was
with a
somebody
wink.
else,
I said it with a wink, Mike.
No, I know you did, but my point is, if you can't prove that they did it, and they had an outside company hire the private investigator to do that job,
We'll figure it out.
We're gonna figure out.
That's why I asked for the deposition, and that's why I asked.
We're gonna get to the bottom of this one. We're gonna get to the bottom. We're gonna dig.
see, but does the private investigator have to say who hired them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And
Yes.
we'll get the
We'll
billing.
get the-
So then you'll know who hired them, and
I
then
will
you'll
know
then
everything.
you'll be able to follow the path.
Correct.
To be continued. We will get to the bottom of this. I refuse to believe that a lawyer was involved because if they were, they are.
Okay, Mo, that's the bet then.
That's the bet.
If they were
He
involved,
loses every bet, and he never pays up. Did you
well,
know
that's what I was
that?
gonna say. Well, Karen, what does he lose if he loses?
What do I lose?
You got to take Mike to the movies. Not me.
No, you got to take us both to the movies.
Yeah.
I'll take you both to the movies.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, that's a fair.
Wait, not just the movies, Cinerama and chocolate popcorn.
Chocolate popcorn, Cinerama.
Okay.
To be continued.
Okay. Until next time.
He's losing.